Hi guys, it is Sunday, Real Housewives of Atlanta premiere day. If you are a Real Housewives of Atlanta fan, then I know you're on the edge of your seat just like I am. I cannot wait for the premiere. I'm going to be reviewing the episodes every week, so make sure you're commenting, following along. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn your notifications on because I come on different times whenever I've gotten information, gossip, or something that we need to discuss. So for this video, we're going to be talking Noella, a lie that she got caught in supposedly. Also, we're going to be talking about Jackie from the Real Housewives of New Jersey and how we're hearing that she's been demoted to a friend for this season. We also know that they're getting filming ready. They will be filming this summer, and we will be seeing Teresa and Louis' wedding on the Real Housewives of New Jersey versus a spinoff. So go ahead, hit that like button, and we're going to get started with the whole Noella thing. She's getting sued right now, guys. I want to break this down for you a little bit. This is how a civil case works. If you, it could be a business. If you owe them money after so long and they decide that they're going to take it to court to, sue you, they file a civil case and you get paperwork from that. It's usually delivered certified, you have to sign for it. And then you have a responsibility, you or your attorney, whoever's representing you, to follow up. You have to turn paperwork in, you have to show up in court. And if you miss any of those steps, it's very likely that the case will be won by the person that's suing you. And then they can put liens on any property that you owe, and they can also garnish your wages. And that's what we have happening here with Noella. She claims that her and James were married for 2 years, but there was an issue with her daughter's father. Now, we know that Noella has 2 kids. We didn't know that, but we do now, okay? So the daughter was not granted, the dad did not want her filming. He didn't want Noella to even speak about her. So we didn't even really know that Noella had these children because we never saw them and we heard them mentioned here or there. And so basically, there was a paternal issue with the daughter, and Noella and James allegedly hired this attorney group to help represent them in this case. And apparently there was a lot of back and forth before everything was solved. And during that time, the attorneys still get fees for any paperwork that they file. Anytime they have to go to court, I mean, trust me, they're going to get theirs. So in the meantime, she let it rack up to something obnoxious in the hundreds of thousands of dollars she owes these attorneys. She never paid them. And she claims that James should be the one to pay them. And that's why she allegedly didn't go to court and didn't respond to the civil suit, because she claims that her and James were married and that this was James's, arrangement. He wanted to do this and therefore he is financially liable. However, she didn't go to court and tell a judge that, because that's what you would do. If you were getting sued for somebody else's debt, you would simply go to court and say, this is not my debt, this is my proof A, B, and C, and be done with it. Because the first thing a creditor has to do is prove that it's your debt. So if she showed up in court, she probably would have had a much better chance of getting it taken care of, which that makes me suspicious. It makes me feel like it actually is her responsibility and she probably retained them, and so that's why she didn't want to go to court on it. So she has that out there now, a couple $100,000 that she owes. Now, Heather is coming forward. She does her podcast, and she's saying there was this issue that we didn't see on the reunion. And it was interesting to me because Noella made a really big deal about what it was like when she went to Heather's home and how she had to wait at the gate, and just the little innuendos letting us know that Heather was a snob and that Noella didn't feel comfortable in her home. Heather says that when Noella got there, she offered her something to drink. Do you want champagne? Do you want a drink? Noella declined. She said when they were waiting outside the studio for the cameras to be set up, she offered Noella a drink again because she said Noella loves champagne. So I offered, you want champagne? You want something to drink? And she said Noella declined and said, oh, I drove. And Heather asked, why would you drive? You hate to drive. And she said, well, my car got canceled. So here's the deal, guys. The network, anytime these ladies are filming, it doesn't matter if it's at the nail salon, it doesn't matter. The network offers them a car because they don't want them drinking and driving. It doesn't matter if they're gonna have 1 drink or 20 drinks, they offer them a car. So I wanted to say that I think it's really great that the network does that because they don't want to be liable for DUIs. However, Noella is trying to say that her car somehow got canceled, and she blamed Heather for that. And then she said Heather was trying to pump her full of champagne to get her drunk so that she would leave there and get a DUI. So we didn't see that on the reunion. There's a little fun bit for you. Now let's get to the juicy stuff, okay? Real Housewives of New Jersey, Jackie. We saw her this season. We saw her be very vulnerable and honest about her eating disorder, which I appreciate and respect. But I thought it was very strange that none of the other women were caught. No one even knew that was happening, really, except for Marge. And so that kind of hurt Jackie, because then it doesn't leave any area for discussion or to really bond with these women and let them help her a little bit and let her be vulnerable in front of people that are not just her husband and Marge. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody else agree with me on that? Can you comment below? Like, people will even say it about Teresa Giudice. Like, they will say everything that they hate about her, but they will still mention the fact that she has had cameras rolling in her home for like the last 10 years all the time. Like, worst day of your life is probably going to prison, and she had the cameras rolling. So she has shown us so much vulnerability just by filming some of those scenes and those tough times. And that, I think, is what bonds certain housewives to other viewers, because they've had a similar experience, or they can empathize with the pain or the struggle or whatever the case is. They still appreciate you being vulnerable because it is reality TV. So I think this is hurting Jackie because we're only seeing her privately discuss it with Evan. It makes her not accountable to any of the other women because they don't even know that it's happening. It takes away the opportunity for the other women to support and love her. I'm not saying that they're perfect, but if you don't know that your friend is struggling with something, how can you help them? How can you lift them up? How can you encourage them? She needs a little bit of extra TLC and kind words. Like, she needs some friends in her life, and if nobody knows she's going through this, nobody can be there for her. Okay, so it does not help with her storyline because it kind of displaces her from the other women, because her whole storyline is her eating disorder, but it's not being discussed with the other women. It's just being discussed with Evan, and so it really doesn't make it a storyline anymore because the other women don't even know what's happening. So they did decide to demote her to offer her a friend contract. Now, Sherelle from Sherelle's World always says, Bravo will never fire anyone. They will just give you the shittiest contract ever. And that's it. That's how it goes. Like, you get demoted and some women take it and most women don't. And it's usually like the shittiest, terrible contract. Like, you're getting paid barely anything to film. And that's why the women typically just decline it and part ways. And Bravo lets the women tell the story however they want to. That's the beauty of it, according to Sherelle's World, allegedly. So she's been offered this friend role, which people were going back and forth if they thought that she was going to accept it or not. But one of the comments that people was reoccurring was that they really think she needs some time away from the cameras and time away from the spotlight so that she can work on herself, work on her eating disorder, and be, with her family. And I actually agree to that, because sometimes I think God can do something for us that we can't do for ourselves, especially in situations like that. Like, you're not going to walk away from a full-time housewives position with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like, it would be very, very hard to decline, just to say no. So maybe this is happening for a reason, that she's getting demoted so that she can spend a little bit more time and have some time freed up, even for treatment or therapy for her eating disorder, because I think a lot of people are rooting for Jackie. They want to see her, do well and be healthy, because she does seem like your, all-American woman, boys, beautiful home. Like, she's a nice lady. So nobody wants to see her suffering behind closed doors. I hope that she will take some note and come back next season, and maybe she will give us a strong enough storyline or discuss the eating disorder with the other women. And I think that would help her chances of getting her back to a full-time role if she accepts the friend role, which we're hearing that she is accepting the friend role. And then we have Teresa Giudice. They're going to start filming, I think, in June. which they have filmed during the winter. We've seen Christmases on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, but we also know they really like to film at the Jersey Shore. They like to get everyone in the summer, and that's because we're cooped up in the winter time, and by the time summer comes around, like, we're ready to, if you're living in New Jersey, New York, in that area after, winter, you're just ready to fly, you're ready to be free. And sometimes I think that makes for more interesting time at the Jersey Shore when they've been cooped up all winter. Now they're like ready to party and drink and have a good time, and it makes for great television. Also want to let you guys know we are going to be seeing Teresa and Louis' wedding on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. They're not going to be doing a spinoff. We're going to see it on this season. There were some blind items maybe saying that the allegations were allegedly the network didn't want to do a spinoff with Louis and Teresa because then they were scared that the wedding may or may not actually go through, or also that it would be very easy for Teresa to navigate navigate the storyline, and there wouldn't be a lot of people questioning things, or she could just kind of skip over things that she didn't want people to see because it would just be her and the girls and her family. So that's supposedly why they skipped on the spinoff, but I don't know for sure if that's true. So, yeah, guys, that's where we're standing. I'm excited for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm not excited to see Drew. I know I keep saying this, but I would have rather have seen Toya than Drew. There's just something that seems disingenuous with her and her husband, and I'm not quite sure what it is. But I still think we're in for a great season. And Sheree Whitfield was actually on Carlos King show, and she was talking about Phaedra. And it's so funny because they say that Carlos King is like trying to become the next Andy Cohen. So he's doing these like podcasts, and he's doing them like late at night, like how Andy Cohen would do Watch What Happens Live. Yeah, so I think Carlos King might give Andy a run for his money because he really gave us some of the best seasons, the best episodes of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and New Jersey. So just something to think about. Make sure you guys comment below, and we will talk soon.